Okay, we are just doing a sound check before we get started. Just give it 1 more minute to go. If those were, okay, let me just stop my music. Hey, Socrates, if those were, okay, I think audio is good to go. Okay, so hi to friends on Facebook and also those who are live on Zoom with me. So good to have everyone with me. And we just give it another 30 more seconds. Hey, Margaret, good to have you live with me as well. I think we just give it 30 seconds just to get the connection going. And either way, I'm keeping my eyes open. I'll try my best. I'll keep my eyes open on both the chat that's happening on the Zoom and on the Facebook group. Okay, so if you have any questions, feel free to type into the chat as we go along. Okay, so I could address it as we go. Okay, so I think we are good to go. Okay, we got a couple of people both on Zoom and on the Facebook Live. Okay, so welcome. And if you do not know me, I'm Eileen, your host for today. So how do we have guaranteed success in life? Okay, I know this sounds very strange, right? I'm going to dive into it. And first thing first, just housekeeping is that I don't believe in long webinars. So if I speak too fast, maybe I'm just going to be excited. I don't believe in long webinars, maybe because I also speak faster when I get excited. But I also know that you're busy people who actually wants to be better, wants improvement in your life. I mean, you could be out having fun, having dinner with your family or friends, having a nice meal, but yet you choose to be here. Okay, so I appreciate your time. So I want to condense it. By now, if you know me for a while, I do like to simplify things. So essentially, I would like to simplify this entire webinar into 3 key areas, okay? And some of you might have seen this agenda on the Facebook group. If you're not part of our Facebook group yet, do join us on the Facebook group as well, okay? So the 3 key areas of what you're going to discover today is that you probably heard or you've been told that you're the highest form of creation. And then you feel like, really? I don't feel it, okay? You hear it, but you don't feel it. That's the first thing. Second is that, but I really don't know how. You know, I like to have guaranteed success, but I really do not know how. That's the second area. And third is that, but what if I try and I fail? Okay, so these are the 3 areas I'm going to dive in for today's webinar. I think it's pretty fun. I had fun preparing it. Okay, so the first thing is, if you've been told you're the highest form of creation, I mean, just imagine a mom talking to her daughter, and she's telling her daughter that, hey, you're the highest form of creation. And her daughter is like, really? So does it mean that I can have anything I want? And mommy says, yes, you can have anything you want. So I'm sure at some point in time when you're a child, you have this interaction with your parent, right? You've been told you can have anything you want. You can do anything. You're the highest form of creation. Not those exact words, but similarly, you have felt the empowerment, okay? And as you grow up, you might have heard a more longer version of it, which actually was told by me, by my mentor, Bob Proctor. He says that you're God's highest form of creation. You're living, breathing, creative magnet. You have the ability to control what you attract into your life. And this was said by Bob Proctor. And perhaps you came across this quote, you read it, or perhaps heard about it, someone said in your face. And how does it feel when you heard this quote being spoken to you? Okay. And I know at this juncture, truth be told, even when I first heard it from Bob Proctor, and bear in mind, I've been personally mentored by Bob Proctor. I mean, bless his soul. So it's not like these were words of a total stranger. Even when I heard it from Bob, I was like, seriously? Like, I heard you. I really heard you, but I find it very, very hard to believe. Why? Because I'm looking at my present result and I'm like, really? I don't know if I'm the highest one of creation. My current result doesn't seem to support. I mean, there's a bit of disconnection, right? So it's, yes, logically, intellectually, I know I heard about it, but emotionally, I just cannot connect it, right? So you see, as much as we hear it intellectually, we intellectually can accept it because do you know how many sperms it takes for that one particular sperm to evolve and you being born, like your birth itself is a miracle. I've said this many times by Og Mandano. He says that your birth itself is a miracle and it shouldn't stop on the day of your birth, right? Logically, we can accept it. Statistically, we can accept it. But emotionally, it's still a struggle. So at such moment when it's still a struggle, I mean, as much as I know I am the highest form of creation, my present results are showing otherwise. So what do? At such moment like this, I like to remind myself, and you can remind yourself as well, is to play a random game with the universe. This is a game I played with myself. You know, I was just one of those days, and I woke up. I was like, I'm not getting what I want. And I got reminded of the random game. So I sent a memo out to the universe. I say, okay, universe, do your trick, right? If I'm the highest form of creation, this is my command to you, is that I would like to see a green car. You know, green car, I was thinking, green buses are easy with the public transport. Buses are easy. Green car, it's not a very common color, not the preferred color. I wouldn't choose a green car, but I was like, okay, but it exists. So my command to you is to show me a green car. So I put in that request early in the morning. And then by afternoon, I was out. I remember I was with my niece, she's 7-year-old, and we're crossing the road. And I turned, I look, Tara, my niece, she's Tara, her name is Tara. Tara, look, there's a green car. She was like, no, it's a green bus. I said, no, next to the green bus. Oh, she said, green car. Yes, I said, yes, because I was playing a game with the universe. She was like, the universe? Like the world? I said, well, kind of, right? I put in a command to the universe and I wanted a green car. And the universe presented a green car. She was like, oh, I see. So she was still a little bit confused, but I encouraged her to play the game as well. So she said, while we were walking into the mall, she said, okay, I would like to see a McDonald's place. I was like, really? Seriously? There's already a McDonald's. I know there's a McDonald's in the mall. I was like, okay, sure, okay. So as we're going up the escalator, it wasn't leading us to the McDonald's restaurant, but guess what? We landed on a whole billboard that shows McDonald's, there were fries or everything. So I said, oh my gosh, that was like in less than a minute. You put in your command, you want to see a McDonald's place, and here it is. I mean, she still wasn't that convinced. She was like, it wasn't exactly what I had in mind. I said, okay, great. Then that's fine. Let's be a bit more specific. And we entered the lift. She said, okay, I want to see a purple flower. I said, purple flower, really? I was thinking because behind her was just a lady wearing a blouse with pink flowers. I said, okay, so you want purple flowers? Okay. So when we stepped out of the lift, right, in front of us was a store that was selling flowers. And guess what? We saw a purple flower. I was like, oh my gosh, the universe loves you. It's playing the game really, really nice with you, right? And I said, shall we play a bit more? Because as much as she's getting her request, she puts a command, she gets it so fast. I myself am pretty impressed because it was just like within minutes, okay? So we're standing there buying our drink and she said, okay, I know of something random. I want to see a blue car outside because we're in the mall and she wanted to see a blue car outside the mall. I said, fair enough. And she asked me, so what do you want? I said, I want a yellow sports car. Okay, she was like, yellow sports car? I said, yeah, I want a yellow sports car. Okay, so we got our drinks, we left the mall, we were just walking across the bridge, overhead bridge. And guess what? I was like, Tara, look, I think that's a blue car. She looked at it and she was like, no, I think it's kind of purple. It wasn't very distinctly blue. And then she said, oh, but next to it, there's a light blue car. So I was like, oh my goodness, the universe really likes you. It's making your commands come pretty quickly. Like, it's just minutes. And she said, yeah, I don't know, where's your yellow sports car? I said, yeah. And she said, maybe because your request is too hard for universe. I said, no, we'll see. So 3 hours later, it was time for dinner. I have not seen my yellow sports car yet. We were looking around. No, there was nothing. And when we were having dinner in front of television, the news was going on. And guess what we saw on the screen? Tara, look, a yellow sports car. Okay, the newscaster was reporting on a yellow sports car. And this little one told me, finally, yours took a while. Okay, so if you had doubt or you had difficulty believing that you're the highest form of creation, you don't feel like you have the ability to attract what you want to your life, play such game, right? Play such game with yourself, because such little games, it took me about 3 hours to see or have my command to the universe to be presented to me to see the yellow sports car. It took the little one only minutes, okay? I would say some of it was within 45 seconds, right? So at moments whereby you still can't believe, play such game with yourself, okay? And just release, put in a command, but don't be like my niece. Initially, she said, I want to see a rainbow car. I said, no, seriously, there's no such, I mean, who has a rainbow car, right? I said, do something a bit more believable that you can believe as well. She said, okay, so she changed it to the blue car, right? So at such moments where you still find it hard to resonate with the belief that you're the highest form of creation, and you don't believe that you can actually attract what you want in your life, play such game. Because you need to understand that if you feel that your life is not a magnificent adventure, it's really because that there are errors made by you or people around you. Yes, when I say by you or people around you would likely be your parents, your caregiver, right? Because there's the error that's in you, which consists of limiting beliefs. Like, have you ever played such random games before? I hope if this is the first time you're hearing from me, you would just be adventurous and try, because if a 7-year-old can do it within minutes, I'm sure you can do it too. But because we are older, we're all above, I'm pretty sure we're all above 7 years old, we might take a little bit of time, but the point is that you need to experience it, right? Just a simple act of playing with a random game. Because in our mind, we are not having that life of magnificent adventures, because in our mind, we have these limiting concepts, and they were limiting concepts about your potential as a person, right? You as a highest form of creation, and all these strange ideas of you not being able to rise your highest potential were lodged into your subconscious mind for the longest time. And then it actually forms an image in your mind of who you are, who you can be, and hence it's restricting your success. And my clients follow a system that has a specifically designed exercise that help them to correct these errors and assist them to experience a change in the image of themselves in their mind, right? Because once you change the image in your mind, this is the start of the lifestyle that you have previously only dreamt of, okay? So I strongly encourage you to go play the random game with the universe, and do share in the Facebook group what's your outcome, okay? So the next thing is that, okay, I'm maybe you're starting to believe that you have the highest potential, but you say that I still really do not know how, right? I do not know how am I going to get going, or I do not know how to take the first step, how to get the success I want. Okay, so you have to understand that when it comes to success, it's 5% strategy and 95% mindset. I mean, think about it. If it's 5% strategy, then that's easy because that means the how, which is a strategy, is only 5%, while the 95% mindset is really just a feeling. Because did you realize that success is actually just a feeling? So if it's just 5% that's on the how, that's the strategy. So let's dive in, because if it's only 5%, let's address it, okay? So if you would like to have guaranteed success, okay, so what is success to you? I mean, the dictionary says that success is the accomplishment of an aim, of a purpose. It's an accomplishment, right? And Earl Nightingale says success is a progressive realization. That means you're constantly moving towards of a worthy goal. A worthy goal is like your aim, your purpose. So that definition of success is actually amazing, because the minute you actually define a goal, because prior to getting to I do not know how, the question is, have you defined what is it that you want? Right? Now that you're starting to believe that it has more creation, define what is it that you want. What is the aim? What's the purpose? What's the ideal goal? Right? And the ideal goal could be as simple as, if a lady, she says that my goal is to be the best mom, best wife, and every morning she wakes up and step into that role. That itself is a success, because she has already defined her aim, her purpose, her goal. Or even a guy who says that I want to open a convenience store, right? And just defining that I want to open a convenience store, and every morning he wakes up, taking action, finding out how to make it happen, where to get a store, it is already a success, okay? And when we say that I do not know how, I always love to bring the analogy of the baby, because we were all once a baby, you know? So that I could resonate with anybody, regardless of what age you are, you were once a baby. Like, can you imagine when you were a baby, you have such a conversation in your head, like, how do I crawl? Like, will it hurt if I fall? And what will other babies think of me if I choose to crawl? Can you think, or can you imagine if you being a baby having such conversation in your head, you question like, can I crawl? Is it possible? But what if it hurts? What if I'm being judged for trying? You know, you don't have such conversation in your head. Like, I love this picture, because imagine a baby will even have a chance to ask another baby. Like, baby don't question. They are so committed. They eat, sleep, poo, wake up. They try to crawl. Why? Because they see that, oh, I'm the odd one out. That all their caregivers are walking. And the baby is so committed. And even the baby falls, it just stands up and try again. It just keeps going, right? You've never ever seen the baby say, I give up, I don't want to walk, right? So you see, that's the level of commitment, because you don't have to ask how. The minute you believe you're the highest form of creation and you set a goal, you just have to take that first step. Just remember or remind yourself that you were once a baby, you had that kind of gusto. Okay? So what I want you to do is really start to define what success means to you, right? Because what I want you to do is define the success that's in your mind, not what's happening in your current results. Current results has already happened, right? It's already happened. Create an image in your mind and stop viewing these images in your mind as either wishes, ridiculous fantasy. No, start to view these images with an eye of understanding and see them as truly unique pictures for you, right? All these pictures in our mind are unique to each of us. And this unique picture in your mind is packed with power, possibilities, and promises. Okay, that's all you have to define. What is your success? It's different for everyone, but you have to define it, because if you can't see in your mind, you can't hold it in your hand. Okay? Next. You may define what your success is. Oh, I feel like we're going in progression, right? So you may define what your success is. But I say, but what if I take the first step, right? Yeah, I don't want to figure out how, but what if I just take the first step? And what if I fail? What if I try and I fail? Like, I know, but can you imagine had Thomas Edison said that, oh my gosh, if I try one more time, I will fail. Just at the 999 times, you and I wouldn't be at the comfort of our home with light, with electricity. No, right? And can you imagine if Walt Disney gave up after 300 times of rejection? He didn't get any bank loan for 300 times. He got rejected. It's like a full year of rejection. Can you imagine? He said, I'm going to fail. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm just going to give up, right? I mean, Walt Disney finally got the loan on the 301 time, right? Had Walt Disney given up, you and I wouldn't know of the happiest place on earth, right? And it wasn't just that, right? He still had to do with other things, but at least he didn't stop, ponder, and wonder, like, should I try? Should I go to the bank? Should I not? Or Thomas Edison said, should I just try and change this circuit or something? They don't ponder, they don't wait, they just do. They don't even have time to entertain an idea that if it will fail. They're just more focused on, what if this is the next time where I try one more time and I'm going to succeed? You see, there's a whole lot of different attitude you hold, which is why nothing can stop a man with the right mental attitude from achieving his goal. Nothing on earth can help the man with the wrong mental attitude. Okay, so what attitude do you hold? Right? If you're holding the right mental attitude, nothing can stop you from achieving your goal. We just have to define it. That's like part 2 of this webinar, right? And as long as you define it and you hold the right mental attitude, nothing in the world can stop you. Right? It's just a matter of, do you want to do it? You know, sometimes it's really, really very hard to do it. Why? Because our mind has this very annoying feature. And this is something I learned from the Yale professors, Yale University professors, right? It says that our mind has a very annoying feature, is that it tends to amplify the bad stuff. And the worst is that after you have defined what you want or define what success is, before you even want to take the first step, you are starting to thinking, oh, what if things happen? What if it's like it doesn't work out? Your mind has this annoying feature that amplifies the bad stuff. And the minute it amplifies the bad stuff, it also amplifies that, oh, what if I'm not worthy? What if the odd one out? What if I try and fail? What if I'm not worthy? What if I'm not the favorite one? The universe doesn't like me. Is it possible? Of course, right? Because that's an annoying feature of our mind, right? And sometimes when you have this annoying feature in your mind, but you are meant to be more, the universe will impose or force it upon you. Okay, for instance, I was, I mean, like every one of you, I actually started off with a job. So I have a job, a 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 corporate job, right? Who knocks off at 5? That's ridiculous, right? We go 9 to 6, and thank goodness we can knock off at 6, okay? So as a corporate job, that's the only thing I know ever since I graduated. Having a corporate job, but in the later years of my corporate career, I started to work on a second career, being a coach, right? It was outside of my 9 to 6 job, and I was doing it after that 9 to 6 office hours, right? And when I wanted to be a coach, I actually have a sales coach supporting me. And one day when he told me that he's starting a new mastermind group to support new coaches who wants to reach out to corporations, I was like, oh my goodness, this is it, right? Because I've been working in multinational corporations and I felt that I could resonate with the corporate executive, the B2B sales. That's my thing, right? I can't do the B2C, business to consumer, okay? And my sales coach was based in Canada, okay? So he arranged for a kickoff call at 2 p.m. EST, Eastern Standard Time. That means it'll be 2 a.m. where I am. Okay, despite it being 2 a.m., I stayed up. I stayed up. And as my sales coach shared his plan on this mastermind group, I was even more excited. I was like, oh my goodness, this is it, right? Until he ended the call. Okay, this mastermind is only for full-time coaches. I was devastated, right? I'm like, why am I discriminated because I'm a part-time consultant or part-time coach? I'm not doing this full-time yet because I don't have the experience. I've been doing or involved or being a corporate employee. I don't know what it's like to be a coach. Like, how can I just jump into it full-time? I also have bills to pay. I have home mortgage loan to pay. Like, my day job pays for all these bills, right? So why am I being discriminated that while I want to work on this part-time, like I'm working extra hours out of my 9 to 6 job, like I feel really discriminated, like why am I not given a chance at least for trying? So I really went to bed feeling upset, like really, really upset. And the next morning, I requested for a meeting with my boss. I told her I decided to quit. And she was shocked. She was like, why the sudden decision? You're doing well. And I've just given you a high visibility job, high visibility project actually means there's a very high chance of me getting a promotion and increment, right? Because I was due for it. So I needed a high visibility project that gives me high visibility with the global team, right? I said, yeah, I really thank you for the effort, but I want to be part of this mastermind group. And it's only for people who are working or doing full-time being a coach. So my boss looked at me and she said, I understand, because this is what you're passionate about, right? And when she said that, my throat tightened, my eyes were almost watery. I replied, yes. Okay. So she left it at that. I served my notice and I flew to Canada to attend in-person sales training before embarking on my journey to be a full-time coach. And 4 months into being a full-time coach, what I earned in that 4 months was what I earned in a full year in my 9 to 6 job, right? And the funny thing is that I never got to join the mastermind group that was meant for full-time coaches. I honestly don't know what happened, right? So you see, sometimes our mind amplifies the bad stuff, like, oh, how am I going to get all this done? I got bills to pay, I got my mortgage loan, I got this, I got that, right? And our mind also not just amplify the bad stuff, it tricks us to think that we are not ready. And honestly, we are never ready, right? But essentially, all it takes is a decision. And perhaps you might think that I was just lucky and things work out. But I really wouldn't have known if I was lucky or unlucky had I not made a decision. You see? So sometimes when you are ready and you're not moving, the universe actually forces it upon you and you just do it. Okay? So if you're still wondering, what if I try and if I fail? Then you should know this term, YOLO, Y-O-L-O. You only live once. Okay? So go for it, right? And now we have this $1 million question. So I've addressed the first part, second part, third part. First is you having the highest potential. You're the highest form of creation. Second, but if I do not know how, then define what success means to you. Okay, you just have to take the very first step. And third, once you have defined success and you're still worried, like, what if I try, I fail? Don't worry, it's just your mind amplifying the bad stuff, right? And you only live once. So now this is the $1 million question. Actually, not the $1 million question. I have 3 questions. So it's a $3 million question. Because you have to understand, I was in your position. I was so good at gathering knowledge. I was so good. But I didn't act upon all the knowledge I've gathered. I don't not just gather it for free, like this is a free webinar. I've actually invested for paid courses. I gathered all this knowledge and I felt good after gathering the knowledge. Like, you're here, you're very busy people, you're dedicating your time to be here instead of having fun or having a meal with family and friends. Like, when I was getting knowledge like you, I was feeling really good. But because I didn't take action, I didn't act upon all these ideas or all this knowledge that I've gathered, over time, I felt frustrated. Like, I really felt frustrated. I remember when I first attended an internet marketing class, I was learning how to create a web page, for someone to click, submit their details. Like, after a weekend of learning, I managed to create a web page, like no big deal. They even give us a step-by-step guide, right? But I still really didn't understand it. I do not know why, but The following weekend, I just sat myself down for 3 hours and I got into action. And then I really got it. And I never forget how I got it. Because you see, if you are thinking about technology change all the time. So the tools to create a web page might have changed, but the fundamentals remain, right? So I strongly encourage you to answer these 3 million questions I'm going to ask you to make your time worthwhile. And these are very simple questions, 3 simple questions. It's just a yes or no, right? I did mention that I love to simplify, all right? So I'm going to simplify, make your time worthwhile, and all you have to do is answer 3 simple questions. It's just a yes or no, right? So the very first question is, do you want to right now forget the past? And when I say forget the past, it's forget about the mistakes, the failures, just release it. Instead, take responsibility for what's happening right now, your present result, because simply accept that you're probably ignorant. Definitely, because had you known better, you wouldn't have done what you've done, you wouldn't have made a mistake you have done, but let it go, right? Just accept that it's okay. I'm going to forget the past, forget the mistake, forgive myself, and just be responsible for my present result. Done, okay? So are you willing to forget your past? Yes, no? Second, so do you want to start changing the image within you? Because you see, your success or your failures, the prime cause of it, whether success or failure in life, is this hidden image that's within you that you have of yourself. This hidden image at your subconscious level. It controls your mind just as surely as it controls your heartbeat. Like, do you want to recreate an image of yourself that's geared towards success and fulfillment for your entire life? Like, understand that regardless of any success you want, until you change this image of yourself, you see yourself differently, right? The results, the success will never match up. So your self-image have to be of the person who you want to be, of the success that you want to have, right? So this image within you determines what you are able to accomplish. Okay, so do you want to change the self-image within you? Okay. And third, have you decided that you seriously want to have guaranteed success? Decide, right? Because I really address the part whereby you have the ability, the highest form of creation. You have the ability. Now is that, are you willing to do whatever it takes? And willing means to do some work, to change your self-image, and start to understand why and how was your current self-image was formed. Again, perhaps there's some releasing that needs to be done. Okay. So if you say that it's a yes to all 3, I'm willing to forget my past, I'm willing to change my image within, and I've decided that I truly want to have guaranteed success in my life. If it's a yes to all 3 questions, then I'll strongly encourage you to book a call with me, right? To discover how can you improve the self-image using a 3A framework, which has specially designed exercise to help you correct those errors and help you to experience a change in the image of you that's sitting in your mind. And this is the start of the lifestyle that you have previously only dreamt of. You see, now you have the how of a proven framework. The proven framework is in the 3A framework. And when you have the how, you're going to have that same gusto like you're a baby. You will take action towards your goals, your dream, the success that you seek. You see, the goals, the dreams that you have, they are all unique to you. Unique to you. My goal, my dreams, my picture is unique to me, right? It's all unique. But the thing is that the fundamentals don't change. It's just like using a GPS. It doesn't discriminate whether you are male, female, young or old, right? As long as you know how to use the GPS, you have to enter the start destination, the end destination, then the routes will appear. But when the routes appear, you have to decide which route do you want to choose. You got to then decide and then hit the accelerator and move, right? You see, that's what I mean by some fundamentals do not change, okay? So if you have got a yes to all 3 and check out the link in either on Facebook or either on the Zoom chat. I'm going to just put it here. Let me just pin it for everyone. It's not okay happening. Yeah, just decide, right? If you have a yes, just go for it. That's how simple it is, right? And find out, explore. Don't be too quick to dismiss that, oh, what if this happened? What if that happened? I've really addressed it. I think I've also simplified it. And this is probably the usual concern you have. You think they may not have the ability. You don't believe the highest form of creation. I addressed that, right? Second, you might think that, but I really do not know how, right? That's actually a lie. You don't know how because you don't believe that it has form of creation. If you believe, you'll be doing it, right? And then you might believe it, you might start to believe it. Then you say, but what if I try and fail? How do you know? You have not tried, right? It's all in a decision, okay? So if you already decided that you're going to have or you want to have that guaranteed success in your life, you're perhaps just lacking a bit of the how, right? To change the image within you, to make sure this image within you matches who you want to be to have the success you want. You need some help, book a call, let's have a chat. Because what I'm suggesting, the 3A framework, maybe for you, it may not be for you because sometimes you think you have decided, right? But that decision means you have to be willing to do certain work, okay? And when it comes to doing certain work, I know how hard it can be. The steps are simple, but it doesn't mean that it's easy. It's simple, it's effective, it's proven, but it's still up to you to be willing to do it, okay? So that's all for today's webinar. I'm glad I made it in time, in less than 40 minutes. I'm pretty happy with the timing. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the chat. If you're watching this on a replay, feel free to leave your questions in the chat. And if you want to, you can tag me. I will do my best to reply it. But otherwise, that's it for today. And I hope to see you on the chat to talk about the guaranteed success that you want in your life. Okay? So till the next time, take care. Bye-bye.